We have a ×2 on Sacred Shards, a champion chase going on, champion training event happening, and all of this, of course, to fuse Donatello. So for today, we're gonna see what strategy can I use to get these fragment pieces. Hey you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. As I mentioned, I'm working on the Donatello fusion, and there are a few events and tournaments actually going on right now that kind of coincides with it. One of these is the champion training event. So I'm thinking if I get some champions that I need to actually go ahead, level up and train and all of that, these pieces are going to be easy. Now the next one going on is actually the champion chase tournament. Now with the champion chase tournament, this is getting champs by any means necessary, whether that's shards, market, campaign, all of that to win rewards. For this one, I am still a little bit of a ways off, needing about 3,000 points ideally, because we want to get the 15 pieces. That way I can kind of skip events in the future. Going into the info and kind of seeing what I need to get potentially. So for champs, depending if it's a rare, an epic, a legendary, or a mythical would be amazing. Don't think we're going to get a mythical. Or for voids, if we get a legendary void, that would be nice as well. Now, honestly, you guys, in terms of shards, I actually don't have all that much. However, we do get points for the commons and the uncommons and even the rares. So worst case scenario, I've got mystery shards. Now I do have all of 2 sacred shards. Getting a legendary from this would be absolutely amazing. I don't really want to pull my other shards, so I don't know if that's something I will do as of yet. So we will pull the 2 sacred shards and kind of look into some other potential options we have. What I am thinking is I can do some fusion in here, and that's also going to get me some more points. So let's go ahead, get into these sacreds. Now, of course, with this, there's also a targeted champion boost, which, to remind you guys, I have never actually grabbed one of these. However, the one is actually April O'Neil, who is a part of this collaboration. She is one of the champs that we can actually get, and one of the few ways we'll probably be able to get her. They may do something later on, but for now, this is one of the potentials if somehow I manage to champ. That'd be like a 2 birds, 1 stone with my 2 shards. Looking at her skills, of course, we're going to look at her aura first, which is ally speed in arena battles by 28%. And her first skill apparently does a lot here. Attacks an enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, or petrification debuff on the target for a turn. Then places a perfect veil buff on this champ for 2 turns. So a lot of potential debuffs just out of the skill 1. Second skill, attacks an enemy with a 75% chance of stealing all buffs from the target, has a 75% chance of stealing 100% of the target's current turn meter, 75% chance of placing a nullify debuff and seal debuff on the target for 2 turns. I don't think I have any champs that do nullify or even seal, so she would actually be a really nice addition to my team. Also has a passive effect with a 25% chance of activating the explosive scoop skill on an enemy when they gain an extra turn or instant turn effect. That is probably going to be, oh, when they gain, okay, I see. And then her third skill places a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns, decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 20%, then grants an extra turn. This is also an interesting kit. Overall, she's got an interesting kit, interesting skills. So we do have a passive and active here as well. Whenever an enemy has their skill activated, teams up with allies to attack, gains an extra turn or instant turn, has their skill cooldowns decrease, gets their shield value increase, gets their destroyed HP restored, has their HP swapped by allies or by themselves, evades an enemy effect or skill, has their turn meter equalized, or has their HP balance from a skill, decreases all enemy turn meter by 10%. Occurs once per turn. And then active effect, whenever enemies remove, transfer, or decrease the duration of any debuff to 0, decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 25%. And this can go on a 2-turn cooldown. She looks super good. Legendary support, Sacred Order. She would be such a nice addition. She has so much that she does with her skills and a lot of potential coming out of this champion. Now, again, I am simply going into this with 2 sacred shards, you guys. So before you see the rest of the video, please wish me luck. And I have 0 idea where I am with my pity, so something to keep in mind. Now, as I said, it is going to be just 2 sacred shards. Go ahead and pull them and see if 2 is enough for this. Okay, first one is an epic. That's okay. Kind of like I said, I'm expecting 2 epics from it in general. Now, Shadowkin, I don't know if I actually have her. So increase ally accuracy in all battles by 40. Attacks an enemy with a 40% chance of placing a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. Places a 50% increased accuracy buff, 50% increased attack buff on this champ for 2 turns, then attacks an enemy. Places a HP burn debuff for 2 turns if the attack is critical. Third skill, attacks all enemies, 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by a turn. And then we do have a passive immune to decrease accuracy debuffs, a champ crit rate by 0.05% for every point of accuracy they have. Interesting, because when you build accuracy, you're getting some built-in crit rate, which goes along with the skill too. Okay, all right, I see some potential in here, especially for faction wars. Now, one more sacred shard, you guys. Let's go. We want to see gold. It's epic. Half expected, but now this is actually a champ I've pulled multiple times now. Have kind of started building her. Attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit will ignore shield buffs. Attacks all enemies, 25% strength and buff on all allies for 2 turns. Teams up with 2 random allies to attack a single enemy. Allies joining will use their default skills. Grants an extra turn if any enemy is killed, and then counterattacks when hit while under strength and a buff placed by this champ. Now, as I mentioned, I do have other shards. I really don't want to go into these guys if I don't have to, though. I really was not expecting a lot from my 2 sacred shards. However, points are points, and as I said, I mean, worst case scenario, I just dip into my other shards that I've got, get back into champ chase, select my gems here. So again, I want about 3,000 points. I might have to dip into some of the other ones. I could go ahead, pull my voids, and hope we have some luck in there, but if it's not ×2, you know, it's rare. Now, other options, of course, summon using fragments, fusing them, purchasing them at the market, getting them as a drop, receiving them as rewards. So all of these things I'm gonna factor in before I pull any of my other shards. If I do that, that's probably going to be tomorrow when I actually need to get into it. As for fusion, you guys actually suggested fusing this champ a couple times, and that's a super smart way to do it, especially if you have the food for it. Now, I do have to go ahead and actually awaken those. This was another champ I was thinking about fusing, so maybe I will go ahead and do that as well. Technically, I have the food down here for it, so maybe something else I'll do that won't require too much effort, I'm thinking, but we do need to actually ascend all the food that I need to potentially go ahead and do that fusion. But I think that is going to be kind of my next step here, and really just going ahead, ascending these champs and doing the fusions that I am gonna need. And with those fusions, it's actually not necessarily, I think this is the one I need, yeah, not necessarily a bad thing, because I really should fuse Broadmaw to be able to use at this point. I may as well fuse a couple of them and keep going, because that's what you guys said you do, especially during like a champ chase with something like this going on, which is perfect, because if I don't need to dip into the rest of my shards, I mean, it doesn't make sense to. I need to figure out who else I need. This one. And then we can go ahead and actually start that fusion to get some more points. I will say so far, this fusion hasn't actually been too bad to go ahead and get Donatello. Everything is kind of more or less like working out as I actually need it. So, I mean, not complaining yet. So far, so good. So this was the advice that you guys actually had while there's events like this, is go ahead, grab one that's 350 points, and then I can do it again. Now, this is the only food I have to actually be able to fuse 2 of them, but at least this is gonna be 700 points right there. That's 700. And then if I can get this one done on time, that's going to be a couple more. So going back into my champion chase, and see, at the very least, I only need about 400 more points to at least get the 5 pieces I need here. Of course, my goal is to get the 3,000, because if I don't have to do all of the events, then that's going to be nice to actually go ahead and do. So I would love to keep using fusion Broadmaw here, but have one more. This is the one I'm missing. I don't have any more blood horns, so unfortunately will not be able to keep using there, but I think I will go ahead and fuse this one. And then I think Relic Keeper, I can also go ahead and do some fusion in here. So I think for now, what I'm gonna do, go ahead, do the fusing I need, and then worst case scenario, I go through the effort of going through mystery shards. Because pulling 2,000 of these, I've done it like once, so much effort, you guys. That's a lot of work to do it that way. So I think my next step really is going to be do those fusions, see how far that gets me. Now, as I said, I'm also doing champion training. So I am going through, I'm farming campaign in here. And by farming campaign, I'm getting champs kind of as they drop. So another method to do. Now, I didn't get anything from my sacred shards. Not that I was expecting anything, but thankfully this champ chase is not just pulling by shards, so I definitely still have a chance. Was hoping to have more sacred shards by the time this fusion came around. However, I think I am still on track to get Donatello. If you download Raid Shadow Legends using my link, I'm actually going to start you off with the free legendary champion on day 1, and then at level 10, level 20, and level 30, you'll get yourself an epic. That is 4 amazing champions that you can get just by downloading using my link. Now, you guys saw how my pulls went with my 2 sacred shards, but that is my game plan moving forward to actually get the champion chase event done so I can get the shards from there. I do want you guys to comment down below and let me know how your fusion is going if you are in fact going for it. And be sure you subscribe because I will be making videos on Donatello once I actually fuse them. I will see you guys next time. Bye! Thank you.